Hey guys, welcome to the third episode of the Kaizer podcast. My name is Belf, and today I'm joined by Rowan, Max, and Lee, as per usual. We're going to be going over a few things that happened in this week's stream, hopefully. I don't think much really happened. But yeah, how are we all doing this week?
Not
Yeah,
bad.
bored.
Yeah, it's a very
Really
disappointing
bored.
stream.
We just see
Happy to
MLB
get some
though.
reveals finally about the anime, but apart from that, it was pretty meh. Got to see the deck box for MLB, but not
Yeah,
a great
let's-
stream really.
Let's
Yeah.
let's segue into the anime stuff right at the start. So
So, we had our promotional video for the Cardfight Vanguard If special story, which has been delayed twice now. We've now got our third release date, which is the 30th of this month. The story revolves around the Cardfight Vanguard anime disappearing from the world after Ibiki goes to see the Tatsunagis. And we get introduced to Emmy as the main character in this series, and she has this new sidekick that she kind of works with, and they're working as a kind of duet. I think the new character's called Shuka. And the characters are going to be referred to in the new anime as the Blaster Pair.
Oh god.
Which sounds strange to me, but it does explain why the staff does look a little bit like Blaster Blade Sword.
Anime
During the
was a
promotional
mistake.
video, we got to see a few of the units that are going to appear in the series, so they are still going to be involved somehow. It looks like it might be some kind of real-world-esque battles, a little bit like how the opening for the Vanguard Link Joker Hen series kind of portrayed the series was going to be like until it wasn't that at all, where Aichi was kind of chasing them around the city and transforming into Blaster Blade and Garmor. So we've got Ibiki, we've got Suiko, we've got Shuka, who's this kind of fairy, and Demi, who's a magical girl. And Emi's power in this series is that she's able to summon different units, including, as we saw in the promotional video, we saw Blaster Blade, which I am overjoyed to see back in the anime game. We saw Monarch Santry Alfred, and we saw Blaster Javelin. So it looks like Emi is going to be doing some kind of thing revolving around Royal Paladins in this series.
Thank God.
We also saw Ibiki twice. We saw Ibiki in his kind of pre-deleter stage and his post-deleter stage. And during the trailer, we get to see some legs of one of the deleters kind of dangling down from a ceiling. So it's going to be really interesting to see how they're going to play that off. And actually, for me, we've been watching Vanguard now for well over 10 years. And the story has always been people card fighting to save the world. So it's going to be interesting to see how this different angle on the series is going to take place. The card game anime market at the minute is very full of stuff. This season, we've had 2 new series come out. We had Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's release about 2 months ago, and we also had the anime for Shadowverse release. And both of those series are getting really poor ratings from people that are watching them. Shadowverse has been the anime of literally nothing happening, which has been very disappointing. And Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's has just not held up a candle to the things that have come before it. So I think there is really a potential now for Vanguard to take off and get even bigger and more mainstream. And this could be a moment we see the Vanguard anime becoming much more popular, especially with this huge shift that they're taking in the storyline. It would be interesting to see how many episodes the series is going to be. With the anime being delayed, we don't know whether it's going to be something which is still going to be a full series length, whether it's going to be a 26-episode series, a 52-episode series, or maybe because it's a side story, it might be a lot shorter. We could be seeing something that's just 13 episodes. So it'll be interesting to see that. We've had the opening and the endings already announced. One of the strange things about this is that it's going to be interesting to see how product relates to the cards being played. With all the units being revealed up to now, they're all units which are already in the game. So we are seeing things being released like the Tri-Free sets and the MLB deck, which obviously aren't going to be appearing in this anime, or at least we wouldn't expect them to. So it might be that actually, a bit like Yu-Gi-Oh! 7's, where Yu-Gi-Oh! Is taking a different route in the anime to the actual in real life game, Vanguard might be following suit with that, and we might be seeing a separate game and separate kind of environment for the game that doesn't revolve around the anime in the same way that it has done up until now.
Thank
So-
God.
Right. I've got a question. Do you think it will tie into like the G stuff, like before? Like, so this anime will be now, and then would it link into the G era?
It's going to be
What do you
interesting to
think?
see whether it's going to be either a continuation of the end of the high school arc for the Vanguard V series, which should be kind of, I guess, where this could follow on from after we've seen Ibuki defeated, because we've got all the characters from that series revealed here. So I'm thinking probably this is going to be a continuation of the V series, continuing on from where the team finished winning at the schools tournament after Corin has lost her memories and stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where it's going to take place. I don't think it's going to be an alternative dimension story.
Right.
And I also don't think that Chrono and Tokaha and Shinon are probably going to be seen in this series at the moment. The lack of seeing people like Kai and Aichi in the series makes me feel like actually this isn't going to revolve around the card fighters. It's going to revolve around Emi and the units. So I think we could see something a lot more like a Cardcaptor Sakura-esque anime rather than a let's stand on this table and look at holograms of units fighting each other.
Yeah,
for me,
that's
it's
sick.
for me, it's more like Pushiro's trying to do like an advertising approach for the card game, rather than like focusing on like the anime. Because before we had like Aichi, Kai, Ren, and then it was more focused like kind of a bit like the card game, but you didn't really see like I don't know. You saw like fights and stuff, but this watching the trailer on this one, there's not really much fights. It's just units, and I think they're focusing more on like the advertisement. What do you think?
We could see that this leads on to some really interesting developments for the anime. There's a couple of manga series which I'd really like to see Bushiroad realise, and I think now they're taking a step away from saying we have to have every single episode of two people playing a card game against each other. We could start to see some of the really interesting plot lines that have only been explored in monthly Bushiroad and not in the TV series.
Yeah,
I'd really love to
some
see
stuff on
Shining
Cray.
Store Gaiden, the Cray story. I'd love to see that realised. And I think actually this opens the door to the possibility of that kind of thing happening. I think Bushiroad are aware now, after we've had well over a decade worth of let's watch Aichi play card games, let's watch Chrono play card games, let's watch Shin play card games. They realise that actually it would be good to do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be really interesting to see. And although the series has been delayed, I've got to say, if it's anything like the Shinemon series, which I thought was one of the best series we've had up to now, I think we could be looking forward to something really, really good for the Vanguard anime.
I do feel like they're trying to push Ibuki a bit hard on us since the fucking movie. Like ever since then, Ibuki has been in every series. Has been like they've been trying to make him a big part of every series.
Do people like Ibuki that much?
I don't care for him very much. Personally,
I feel like Ren
not
is.
Ren.
Yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I feel like Ibuki's just a carbon copy of Kai. He's just always angry, but also he can
Very stoic.
Yeah, stoic, exactly. Yeah. He's just
Yeah.
He just seems so similar to Kai.
Like very serious type character.
Yeah, very serious all the time. Doesn't really bring much to the table that Kai didn't already bring.
Yeah.
He seemed like a really good. He seemed like a really good villain when he was
exactly.
like bad guy. But ever since like when Aichi fights him and then he becomes like a good guy, he doesn't really bring much to the table. I don't think.
Yeah. And I think they're trying too hard to make him be important when he really doesn't need to be.
I mean, I liked the sort of mentoring role he had in G when, he was putting Dex in Chrono's locker every other week.
Yeah.
But I still think that, like,
I
still think that like mentor role was better done by Kamui in G, to be honest.
I think Kamui did a lot more than Ibuki did, to be honest. With Ibuki, he was just like, he lost a lot of fights.
Yeah, and most of them were against Chrono. Like, I feel like Ibuki was shown a lot in the show because they were like, okay, we want to try and push Link Joker that isn't Chaos. So we have Messiah, so we got to make Ibuki be like relevant in every single series so that we can keep pushing the support.
Yeah,
which would
and
never
obviously we haven't seen the new Messiah stuff in the series yet, so that's obviously going to be what's happening in this series.
I think it's going to be, since we've basically seen G Ibuki and normal Ibuki. I think G Ibuki is going to be playing Messiah and like playing the new Messiah stuff, and I think the Ibuki is going to start playing deleters again. Because
It'll be
No, I
interesting
think
though, because actually the card game is gone. So at the minute, the only person I know we've got Suiko and Ibuki in the series, but the only person confirmed to have any ability to call units is Emmy at the minute. But it doesn't mean that that can't happen. I think one of the really interesting things as well about this is that we're going to have to see how this reflects on the wider kind of area. And I think one of the things that we're not talking about, which probably has a lot to do with this, is the role of Rive Shindo and the experiment of summoning units to Earth from Krei. And I think actually
Yeah, if that's got something
the
to do
whole
with
thing
it.
about that is probably going to have something to do with this kind of clashing of worlds where the units are becoming realized on Earth. And I think that's why the Shinomon series was there to set this up, as actually saying this is all a result from these experiments where we summoned the Gear Chronicle units and the Genesis units from Krei, and now something's happened which has either fractured the bond between Krei and Earth, or has intensified it and made it so that units from Krei are able to now be summoned into the real world.
the Shinemon series before the V series though, like with Kai and Aichi.
It is, but the G
No, that
series
wouldn't
is
make
after
any
that.
sense, though.
So it's the whole point about the Shinomon series is explaining that actually it's possible to summon units from Krei to the real world.
All
It
right,
doesn't
so
need to
like,
be completely next to it for it to make sense.
I get what you mean.
Yeah.
One of the nice things about this anime is that because it's going to be revealed every week on a Saturday, we are going to have an opportunity to reflect every week on what goes on in each episode and discuss any new card reveals, which are looking unlikely, but I'm sure Bushiroad are going to want to make some money at some point, so they'll be revealing some effects to do with the anime. So please do look forward to us discussing the anime in more detail as we go episode by episode once it's released.
That's a good point. Right, so is that anime stuff done with? Are we moving
I
on?
think so. Yep.
yeah, I don't think there's any other anime stuff that we
Okay.
should really cover.
Right, okay. So next up is Vanguard Zero news. So Japan hasn't had much Vanguard Zero news this week, other than they confirmed like the Championship Series stuff. It's like saying when it's going to be for Japanese accounts. I don't actually have a Japanese account, so I don't really follow that stuff very much. I am more of a global person. So
They brought out the like the hot bath, hot springs thing, where you can try and get like Narukami stuff or Dimpley stuff. I think.
yeah, it's an
Like,
event
it's
based
just an
on
event. Yeah,
thingy Kote and
Miwa.
Miwa.
yeah. You just get sleeves
Which
and
it's a very similar event to what we're getting in global this week, basically. So this week is starting from tonight, it's the Valentine for You event, which is obviously an event that Japan got on Valentine's Day this year. So they're clearly trying to like push us in global to catch up with the Japanese meta and stuff, trying to make sure we get all the events that they get, but trying to give them to us quicker, considering we got 2 sets at once. So, like you were saying, with this event, you can get the sleeves and the character costumes for both Korin and Asuka. So it gives people a chance to actually get Korin as a character if they haven't already paid the V medals for her, considering you don't get her to start with.
I thought it was Emi and Misaki.
No, it's Korin and Asuka for the Valentine's event.
Oh yeah.
I think the Emi and Misaki are like shrine maidens or something in one of the next events.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I got confused.
Yeah, I mean, I do quite like these, like especially the Asuka sleeves. I really like their sleeves. I'm more of an Asuka fan than Korin anyway, but that's just me personally. The event, from what I can tell, is going to play like similar to one of the Duel Links events, which is where you get some dice or something, and you have to roll them, then land on certain squares, and then you do certain fights and stuff like that.
You pick up like items and stuff, and then
Yeah.
and then you get points, and then these points can transfer to whatever you want to transfer it to. So like packs, obviously costumes and sleeves like that.
Yeah, exactly. I'd recommend getting the costumes and the sleeves and stuff rather than the packs, just because they are obviously event exclusive. Packs you can always get hundreds.
Yeah,
and
it's a
hundreds
one-time
later on down the
thing.
line. Granted, if you do want to push for packs, now is the time because MLB is coming out soon, and MLB we know is coming out in set 4, and even now in Japanese meta, they're in set 7, and MLB is still the best deck.
Yeah, it's MLB the end, Fire Blaster Overlord.
Well, yeah, I saw the tier list the other day, and it says that MLB is just straight up tier 1. Everything else is tier 2. So like, you've got MLB.
That sounds like a reasonably healthy game.
Yeah, obviously. You've got MLB is the best deck, and then below that you've got the end, Phantom Blaster Overlord, Lukier,
it's got Ezel.
Fromage, Ezel. And then both.
Narukami started to see play now as well.
Yeah, Narukami's starting to get good now. And you've also got both Spectral Duke Dragon builds as well. So Gold Paladin and Shadow Paladin are apparently on the same level for Spectral Duke. I think a lot of people have been saying that Shadow Paladin one is ever so slightly better, which I do like, because obviously I'm a Shadow Paladin player at heart, and Duke is by far my favourite gold card.
The MLB deck is like, it just searches. It's got Wingleblade that can search any blaster. It's got Starclaw Trumpeter that can search any of the blasters.
Yeah.
It's just insane. Like, you've got Leanne that can tap and then just like rest it and then draw one, drop one. So it's just, you can just find whatever you need and then use MLB. And then you got a 12k base that's got a crit.
One thing I do want to talk about is the as we saw last week in the podcast, we saw the winners deck lists. And the guy who won was playing Garmor MLB. And I found out the reason why he was playing Garmor MLB. It's because in the Japanese version of the game, Garmor's skill to give Snowgull intercept beats Blockade's skill to take away intercept. So MLB apparently has trouble against Blockade, from what I can tell from this. So you play Garmor to counter Blockade. And then it makes sure your Snowgulls keep the intercept even through Blockade's skill.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But we don't have that in Global yet. Apparently, like, as far as I can tell, they are going to introduce everything they've introduced in Japan eventually to us. But at the moment, in Global, Garmor's skill does not beat Blockade. Blockade beats Garmor's. They're also going to be buffing Cosmo Lord. Well, they have done in Japan, so we'll be getting that soon as well. Where our current Cosmo Lord that we've got, the awful triple rare that nobody wants to pull, is going to become an 11k rather than a 10k. Not much else to be said there.
I'm glad that they're actually willing to buff cards rather than just nerfing cards.
Yeah,
buffs always feel better than nerfs.
Yeah, we've seen them buff a couple of cards, because like, I think Ezel and Vermilion are both 11k bases, when I think both of them were 10k bases in the real game. I know Ezel was. I don't know about Vermilion. Vermilion might have been.
Vermilion was 10k base.
Yeah.
No, 11, I think.
Oh,
I think it was a little bit.
And they've also buffed Bladewing Reiji as well. They've made Reiji an 11k base in this, rather than the 10k base that it actually is in real life.
That's something I'm actually really looking forward to. But
yeah,
I know that DI is going to be a little bit poo.
Yeah, from what I've heard, Reiji is not one of the best decks. It's not an awful deck, but it's Dark Regulars. Dark Regulars are never going to be amazing. Not in Zero, from what I can tell. I think they soul charge a bit too much, and they end up losing to deck out, from what I've seen, and then they don't have that much power to push through it anyway. I mean, their kill card at the moment is No Life King, which is he just use all of your counterblasts up, he gains plus 10k and a crit, which obviously just gets completely stopped by perfect guards because of how Zero works. Right, yeah, I think that's all Zero news done, so let's move on to what's next. The stream was dreadful, so we've had to fill up a bit of this with stuff that came out earlier in the week, starting with the Spike Brothers Stride that's coming out in Premium Collection 2020. So, Belf, you are our resident Spike Brothers lover for some reason.
I just like big burly men and balls. Like, what's the problem? Anyway, this is the new Spike Brothers Stride for the new set. So it has an auto on Vanguard. When you rear guard on a circle with a Force Marker's attack doesn't hit, you pay a cost of Counterblast 2 and you G-Flip a card, you draw a card, and you get to call a card from your hand to rear guard circle. So this is sort of lining up more on the Force Marker Matters playstyle that Spike Brothers had in the Raging Tactics. Like, Bull Spike cared about if it moved around Force Markers. If your unit doesn't hit, you get to retire something, you get to draw a card. You had a few other cards that passed around markers, a few other cards that got better if they had markers other than, just doing the marker thing. I think that this card is more playable than it seems. I don't think it's strictly better than last year's Violence Ace, but being able to have repeated pressure, I know that Spike Brothers does build a lot of soul, not like as a main gameplay mechanic. They don't care about it like Pale Moon or Dark Irregulars do, but a lot of their V stuff cares about putting itself into the soul to either call extra copies or to get multi-attacks. So you will have a reasonable amount of soul for this. I can see this getting played in the GB8 deck, because this is not once per turn. So if they guard your attack that is on a force marker, you just Soul Blast 1, G-Flip, you get to draw a card, you get to call another card, and sometimes you're even able to put the card that attacked into your soul, get even more free advantage. I really like the look of this card. I think that this slots into GB8. I think that it has some applications in the normal bad end variant of the deck. I am a pretty big fan of this, all things considered. I kind of wish it had a retire attached to it, because Bullspike does, but I don't think we're really going to complain about this. It's a little bit situational. I don't know if I'd ever look in my G zone and go, yeah, this is strictly better than going for a bad end kill turn, a good end kill turn, or just going into Aggregus or Dirty Picaro. But I like this card. I like this card's design. It's very in line with the standard stuff. It definitely caters more towards the standard plus build than a conventional Hellhard 8 combo build, but it's got to be better than playing the Cray Elementals that you have to play in that deck.
Yeah, to be fair, everything we've seen in Premium Collection so far has been catering more towards the standard builds rather than, oh, look, Luard, let's add a new bullshit card to them, or something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to make the Morfessa mistake again. That it's just, any deck that can make this, it's really good.
Is that guy done then? Should we move on to the next card?
Pretty much. I think that's all I really wanted to say.
I think he's fairly underwhelming, but I can see why he would be good. But yeah, his skill is very short. It's not very wordy compared to a lot of stuff we've seen in Premium Collection so far.
I think it's more supposed to be that you use other Spike Brothers that send themselves to the soul and give you advantage after they attack, so that you can chain both of these abilities at the same time, so that you have it go to soul and resolve its effect. So a Coyote style effect, a Treasured Black Panther style effect, rather than using Bracky, which triggers at the start of your main phase to keep the soul and keep the advantage up.
Right.
I think it's neat, but I don't think it's better than Second Stride being able to go Violence Ace, draw 4 cards.
Yeah, his artwork's very G format stuff. He looks very much like is it Miracle Ace?
Yeah, he looks a lot like Rising.
Yeah, he looks really cool. I like him. Right, let's move on to. Is this Aquaforce? I assume it's Aquaforce. It looks very
Aquaforce. I'd be very disappointed if this was Bermuda, but we'll get more on that later.
So this guy, when placed, look at top 7 cards of your deck, call up to 2 cards from among them to Rearguard Circle as rest, and shuffle your deck. Auto on Vanguard Circle only. When it attacks, counterblast 1, flip a card from your G-Zone face up. For every 2 of your rearguards that are rested, draw a card, choose one of your opponent's rearguards and retire it. If you drew 3 or more cards, stand 2 of your rearguards. So I read that out and didn't actually take any of that effect in, so I'm going to have to reread
that. This card is really good. This card is obviously designed for the Revon build. A lot of your stuff cares about having a Revon name, and it rests itself. Being able to, regardless of even playing this in Revon, which cares about your rested stuff, just attacking with all of your rear guards, then swinging with this, being able to retire 3 of your opponent's things, and then drawing 3 cards and standing 2 of your rear guards in a perfect world, that's pretty mental. Even if this was just a standard restander, this doesn't care about GB. You can go into this first stride, restand a Riptide Dragon, I think it is. You can restand your pressure on hits. I like this card a lot. This is the kind of thing that I think Aquaforce needed, because I don't think that they... a lot of the Aquaforce strides, from what I remember, use a lot of Soul as opposed to Counterblast, and a lot of your rear guards use Counterblast instead.
I can't remember much about Premium Aquaforce at all, to be honest. I just remember Lambros being a thing.
Yeah, it's like Lambros, Alexandros, and
Yeah, I don't think I played against it much once
Aliano.
Lambros got once Lambros wasn't the best ride basically.
Yeah. You also didn't really have on attack retire in Aquaforce that wasn't on. I think it was the Thavas from set 7. Don't quote me on that one. But this being able to retire up to 3 things pretty much for free for just doing what Aquaforce does normally and gives you card advantage back, I think that this card is very high quality. Like,
Yeah.
you can go into this as a first stride. There are going to be like, if your opponent tries to rush you, you can survive their turn, play a bunch of restanders, attack their rears, and anything like against Aquaforce that's normally in the back row is safe. You just snipe them with this. It's a lot like the Victor that gets to snipe the thing with the lowest power. And just being able to focus on multi attacks, I think it's neat. One thing that I will note about this card, it does not care about number of attacks. It cares about number of rested units. So you probably want to play it with like Foivos from the Team Dragon's Vanity set, which calls stuff if you have a Revon Vanguard. You probably want to play it with Baragios and all of the other blue waves from that set that care about resting themselves for skills, because then you'll be able to artificially increase your number of rested units without having to make bad attacks and restand your actual relevant attackers, which seems pretty good. I think this card's neat. I think this card's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. Right, so yeah, he seems pretty cool. That's the Aquaforce guy. So yeah, he's pretty good. I like him. Like we said, they do kind of need that. Next is Bang Dream shit. So we have decided that we are going to ignore Bang Dream stuff and hopefully just ignore its entire existence.
We're
If
hoping
we-
it doesn't come out, but it's definitely going to.
Yeah,
We've
if
got no
it-
chance
I-
of winning it.
I think it'd be a big mistake from Bushy Road. We saw how well fucking Token Rambo did, considering I got a case of Token Rambo cards for 60 quid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will pull in. It will pull in the Vice Schwartz-esque people that maybe fell out of favour with the game.
Is
I
that a
think
good
that's
thing?
probably why they do. Well, it's not a good thing for us, but I mean, I think Bushy Road are trying to, with both the anime that's coming out and the licenses. What they're clearly saying is, we've got this game, and for the last couple of years, we've had the same player base, and we're really struggling to get new people into the game. So what we're going to do is we're going to release a really broken trial deck that people can pick up straight away. We're going to remake the try-free stuff so that people can get into the game from that point. We're going to make a licensed product like the Bang Dream set that people can buy into, and we're going to do a new anime. So they're doing as much as they can at the minute, I think, to try and bring new people into the game. Oh, and Vanguard Zero, of course. Try and bring new people into the game, make the game as attractive as possible, without having to refresh the entire game again like they did last time.
Yeah, I think the best thing that they've done in a long time is Vanguard Zero. To be honest, I think
Yeah.
that has got so many people back into the game or into the game in general. Like,
I think the Bandrans set is mainly for like the music, like because they produce like music, and it's probably like to advertise, you know, their artist or their band.
yeah, as
or
far
their
as that,
group.
Bang Dream does have a phone game as well, if I remember correctly.
It's got a new series of the anime coming out as well
Yeah.
next season. The third series of the anime, I think it is, comes out next season. So it's all about cross promotion, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like when we got
Right.
the Vice Schwartz Vanguard set, and when we got the Detective Conan buddy fight stuff. You know, they're just trying to cross as much stuff over as possible to get as many people buying the product as they can.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah,
fair,
but I feel this one is kind of different. I think it's more focused on you know, the artists and the music, and you know, because Bushy Road also do like you know the song Legendary and stuff. They're all like Bushy Road official music songs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the main thing that I think that they're doing with this is it's very easy for them to design. They don't need to pay artists for this kind of stuff because it's all just screen caps from the anime. If we do end up covering this, if it gets confirmed coming to English, I think we just do like a video discussing everything.
Yeah,
I
it's a
don't-
shame. It's
don't
a
really
shame about
care
the
about
screen
this.
caps because actually, one of the big benefits about Token Rambu was yes, it wasn't ideal that we got this thing that none of us had heard of into the game, but the art was really well done for Token Rambu. They were really good-looking cards, and they'd clearly been made for the cards. They weren't screen caps in the same way that this is.
Yeah.
I think that was a shame. I mean, the fact that the triggers all had like the matching black and white backgrounds and stuff like that was all really nice.
Yeah. They thought about it quite a lot, didn't they, with Token
Mm.
Rambu? It just didn't take off, obviously, on the Western Front, because no one cares about sword boys.
Yeah,
We
I'm
also,
still waiting for the Sky Paladins deck though. That was the other thing they promised with Token Rambu. We've still not had Sky Paladins.
I'm completely fine with not getting that. I think if they do it, eventually introduce another clan, which I can't see them doing anytime soon, really. I don't think it should be another Paladin clan. I think we've got enough of them.
yeah, I
It
think
definitely
that
shouldn't be United Sanctuary either way.
Yeah, they'd probably want to put it in one of the nations that doesn't have much,
Yeah.
so like Magallanica,
Zoo.
Stargate,
Zoo.
or Zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Bang Dream is the first deck that's focusing around order cards, though, isn't it? It's like
Yeah.
like every other card is an order card or something like that. It's got a lot of order cards in the deck, from what I can tell.
Basically, I think the main play style is there's like 5 different bands, and you care about building your deck towards one of the bands, and then you can play the band's specific songs, which are
Yeah.
order cards that go behind your Vanguard and give you like a continuous skill. They are basically climax cards. Like, who really gives a fuck though?
Right.
I can't wait to have a popping party in my next Vanguard tournament.
So next, this guy is Oracle, right? He looks very
Yeah.
Susano-y. So Lee knows Oracle stuff, so we'll let him talk about this.
Okay, so its effect is auto rearguard only. When it attacks, if your hand has 5 or more cards, cast Counterblast 1, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck. If the revealed card is a unit, your opponent cannot call units with the same unit type as the revealed card from the hand until the end of the battle. So if you reveal like a grade 0, your opponent cannot use your opponent cannot use grade 0s against this card. And if you reveal grey 1, your opponent can't use grey 1s. So I feel with this card it's kind of bringing back like the old Oracle where, Oracle was like draw deck with Silent Tom. So I think with this card it kind of has like a Silent Tom feel. And when we had like a retrained Silent Tom for the V version, it was very like lackluster for the V.
Yeah,
For
because
the V
he stopped normal units, didn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't very good, but he's really good in premium. But with this card, it's more like it's more like the old Silent Tom where you're stopping your opponent from guarding, or you're taking away 2 cards from your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
So you just don't want to run order cards in this deck, is what they're saying, really.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, because it needs to be a unit.
Yeah.
I think that this card does synergize really well with the new Silent Tom, because Silent Tom says you can only guard with triggers. Okay, if you hit a trigger off this...
Which you can do really easily as well, because you've got Tetramakers, haven't you?
Yeah.
Tetramakers
okay,
can literally just put a crit on top of your deck, then use this guy to reveal that crit, so you know it's going to be a grade 0 guaranteed.
Sick. Silent
with
Tom is
Tom.
now actually unguardable
And
in
then,
standard.
yeah, you
if you're
literally
leading with
can't
Tom.
guard it at that point.
You got Kuro Magus, you can stack the top 2, and then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, your opponent's hand is like full of 0, I'll put the 0 on the top, and then you just reveal it with this card.
Exactly.
So
This guy with Tom is going to... Oh, wait, no, it's until the end of this battle, actually, isn't it?
Oh, so that won't work.
yeah, but I'm just saying like it replaces Tom. It's not.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I
he
mean, you
doesn't
wouldn't want
synergize
to
well
run Tom in
with
this deck.
Tom, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Certainly for his
I didn't say
attack.
that. Yeah.
I hadn't
But it
remembered
obviously
that.
does. It
Reading
obviously
is
does
hard.
synergize well with the new CEO Materasu Goddess of the Sun
Yeah.
card. Stop your opponent guarding with their grade 3s.
I mean,
but
against Dimpolice.
it gives you the crits, doesn't it? And it's another card that reveals, and that's what we said we needed last week. More cards that reveal. So actually, what it does is it means that you either get to stop them guarding with a grade 0 to 2, so you're getting rid of the shield value, and if you don't get that, you get the grade 3, so you get the crit.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's good either way. You can't lose really, as long as you're playing a good build with this card.
Was
can't-
was the Goddess of the Sun... Did she give it to any unit you wanted, or just the Vanguard?
No, Vanguard,
Yeah.
Vanguard,
Vanguard.
Vanguard.
Okay.
Yeah, so with this card, it combos really well with like Susano. So like you can like start to see like what the core cards are, like the Tetramegas, the Susano, the Goddess of the Sun. This card. So when you're revealing, when you're playing like 12 crit in your deck, this card's gonna be really really powerful, and you can just apply like obviously like Silent Tom, where you apply all the crits to Silent Tom, you attack with it. It's gonna be similar with this card.
The other thing about this card, though, which I think is a big element about it, is this doesn't shuffle your deck afterwards, and you don't draw that card. The card is just revealed. So the top card of your deck in your first drive check, if you're doing this before you attack with your Vanguard, becomes public knowledge. if you're doing it after your Vanguard's attack, your first damage check for your next turn becomes public knowledge as well. So it does mean that your opponent has to work out how they're going to play around whatever the top card of your deck is. Revealing that information to your opponent might not always be the most positive thing. If it's
Yeah,
something
I'd prefer
which is-
people to do that.
Yeah,
Just
I think
like-
I'd be happy. I'd be happy for this card to go off, so that I knew what my opponent's first drive check was going to be.
Exactly.
Thing is, if you're assuming that I'm gonna get double trigger, that means you're guarding every single attack on my field. And
Yeah,
I'm
but if
gonna.
you have got a trigger, if it is going to be double trigger, it means I can't perfect guard it because of this card's ability.
Which is
for
gonna
this
shred a
attack
lot of
anyway.
cards in your hand. So, but this.
But for the
I feel
Vanguard
like-
attack, I can perfect guard it. So that's the difficulty, isn't it? But what it does mean is, say, you reveal top card of your deck of your own 5 damage, and I see that it's a heal trigger. That's going to make me play my turn very different. So if I don't know if it's a heal trigger or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just attack a rear guard with your Vanguard, something like that. I think that this card, it's very high quality for a rare, but we'll see whether or not it makes it into the final build.
I think this card can be very mind gamey as well. You know, like if you stacked the top couple of cards of your deck and then you reveal the top one, reveal that it's a trigger, or you choose to reveal that it's not a trigger. Like, you can make your opponent have to think a lot harder for whether that next card is going to be a trigger or not,
Yeah.
as to whether you are hoping for that double trigger or not. Right, what's the next one? Some Cray Elemental guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
so this is a rock elemental. This is premium collection only, so this is not standard legal. So it has the auto ability on Guardian Circle. When placed, if you have one Vanguard and it's grade 2 or lower until the end of the battle, one of your units cannot be hit.
Didn't
so
we
this
already
is-
get this?
I don't think so. I think this is brand
This
new.
is Karibo.
Yeah, didn't we already
Like
get
dismal,
Kariba?
yeah. It's like a dismal.
Yeah, I thought we already got a card that was when your Vanguard's on grade 2, your Vanguard can't be hit. Was that
I
for a
think this-
specific clan or something?
Oh, this is a grade 1 10k shield though.
Okay.
If that is relevant.
Am I wrong in thinking that we already got a card very similar to this?
I think we've had a card similar to it. I mean, it's giving me what it's reminding me of is it seems like Bushy Road have learnt the lessons from Cat Butler by adding the if you have one Vanguard that's grade 2 or lower.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
I think this is we've learnt our lessons from Cat Butler. This is how we're going to prove it by printing this card, which
Yeah.
can't be abused.
I think this is okay for like if you're getting rushed on grade 2. This might be okay against Ezel, but I don't know if you'd want to give up deck space for this. Really, I think it's format dependent, but
I think it depends how badly your deck loses to Ezel.
I think it's
or
a flex
decks like
card.
Ezel.
Wait, is this a double rare?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This does not deserve to be a double rare.
It's
Yeah,
also
but I
drawn
think
by
double
someone
rare
called
in-
Minato, the 4th Hokage.
I think the double rares in the festival collection are just you get 3 of those in a pack and then
Yeah.
a triple. So this is basically a common.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I think it's pretty trash, to be honest. I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
see played any decks which actually.
I think it's just
You know.
another one of those filler cards, isn't it?
If
One
you're
of
playing
those
this
random
card of your
card
deck, it means your
fillers.
deck's too slow. I think is what it comes down to.
Yeah. Which in premium, your deck can't be slow, basically. Your
Yeah.
deck's basically unplayable if it's slow. Although,
The only way
what
this
it
card
could
could
be
be viable
used...
is if you had something that wrote down.
Yeah, or if you had, like, for
You could use
instance,
this trivia.
I have premium Glandios, and basically if I don't ride Glandios, I can't win. So I might stay on grade 2 for a turn until I get my Glandios. So he might
have
be
space for
useful in that situation. Gonna go with a solid no on that.
Okay.
The grade ones are very specific because you've already got basically perfect guards in there with the thing that swaps the attack to a reverse unit,
yeah.
as well as the
So
actual.
what we're saying
perfect
is, so we
guards.
can't find any decent use for this card.
Not yet. I'm sure we will at some point, or someone will, because that's how this game goes at this point, really.
Yeah.
Uh,
It'll get abused eventually.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the first reveal of today's stream, card-wise. There was only 2 reveals today, which was very, very disappointing of only having 2 reveals. But yeah, this thing, very lackluster, we decided. So this guy, girl, thing, monster, when it attacks, counterblast 1, turn a card from your G zone face up. Your opponent chooses 3 of his face down G units and flips them up. and then for each card that had power among them, so non-generation guard cards, 3 of your front row units gain plus 15k. So you can get a possible plus 45k to your front row 3 units from this if your opponent chooses 3 non-G guard cards.
Mega Colony.
Carry on.
It makes Mega Colony deck as like a stall deck because all you do is just go into this. You just keep revealing the 3 G zones, and then your opponent's gonna run out of G zones, and you just I don't know. It just makes
you'll be dead by that point.
Yeah, assuming you can survive long enough. Exactly.
Yeah, because the game in Prem is really really fast, so I think they're trying to. I don't know, with Mega Colony try to slow it down a bit.
Maybe, but it's I think the problem with this card is that you can choose which G units to flip up. So, in terms of the Progenitor Dragons, those guys say they can't be flipped up from effects. I'm not 100% sure if they say they can't be flipped up by your effects, though.
I think it's just card effects in general, so...
Right. Okay.
I'm going to check my premium Kagero deck right now and find out.
I mean, the other thing about this is there are certain cards which gain benefits from having a number of a specific card face up as well. I mean, like there's the Outmile thing, isn't there? Where if you have, I can't remember specifically. I think the GR Outmile gains bonuses for how many of the first Outmile Stride is face up.
Yeah, and there's
or
also
for how many cards of Outmiles. So I mean, this could end up buffing your opponent or giving them GB8 way too early.
Yeah, exactly.
So I really
it's
can't
all
see where this is gonna
GB8s.
go.
Or this could make your opponent want to go into one of the Xerath Dragons straight away, because you've got to be on like GB3 for those or something, right?
Yeah, the Progenitor Dragons say turned up by card abilities, period. So.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just choose the Xerath Dragon, right, and then not flip up a card, I guess.
I don't think you can. No, I don't think you can.
No, if it says it can't be chosen to be flipped up.
No, it can't be flipped up by
you
abilities.
Can't flip
but
it
can
up.
Be chosen.
You can't.
Yeah, but it can be chosen. It's very similar to like Promised Daughter, where you can choose Promised Daughter, but it won't get retired from like Shadow Paladin cards, for instance.
I think the only deck that would want to play this is a sort of stally Mega Colony deck that tries to attack your opponent's G zone and then just one shots them with Antlion Zoa.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think that's
deck,
very good.
A Mega Colony.
Yeah.
Were Mega Colony any decent in premium before this? I know they have
Yeah,
like
Ghidorah
Gizeh.
They won Worlds last year. But
okay.
Ever since then, they've had like not much relevant support.
I should really brush up on my premium
really.
knowledge. I know basically
yeah,
nothing.
I do not think that this card is very good. I mean, like obviously on paper, this thing just says Counterblast 1. You get to G flip 1, your opponent G flips 3, but then all of your front row gain 45k power. That is kind of nice, but then your opponent strides like some high GB card, and then you're dead.
Yeah.
And like this card can never really be meta because okay, I'm just gonna G flip my opponent 3 cards. Oh, cool! Stride Heritage, win the game.
Yeah.
Like Stride.
That's if you're playing against Gear Chronicle, but if you are playing against Gear Chronicle, you're definitely not going into this anyway.
Yeah, but what decks would this be good against? Because I imagine most decks will have some insane GB3 card or a Xerath Dragon or something that's really good. I'd imagine this will not be particularly great against any deck.
For me, I assume that premium is more like everything is more like first turn GB or second turn GB rather than like
true.
GB3, GB8 stuff. I think it's those type of cards are too slow.
This thing wouldn't be bad against Shadows. Like Shadows, the only premium deck that I really have proper I've actually played with like a lot. And if someone did this against me while I'm playing Shadows do have a fairly small amount of cards that you want to keep on going into stride-wise. And like I wouldn't want to throw away my Phantom Blaster Diablos, but I'd probably have to for this.
I think the card's very balanced, and gaining 45k, choosing 3 units. I think it's really really strong. Like you could like smash your opponent's hand on turn 1 with this card.
The difficulty with the premium collection is there's one grade 4 for each clan, and the way that you decide if you're buying this set or not is by looking at what your grade 4 is and saying, do I want to run this in my deck? And if you don't want to run it in your deck, you're not going to buy this set, because I mean it's going to be so cheap to pick up the grade 0s, and actually I think for Mega Colony players this set just isn't worth picking up.
Yeah.
I honestly think
is it
this
for
card
Mega
is
Colony
not that
players? is it 4 Mega Colony players, or are there 4 Mega Colony players?
That one.
The other thing is about like buying this set in general. Like if you don't care about playing the really busted Cray Elemental, which please I hope it doesn't come out. Zazan is super broken.
It will come out.
I don't think that this set is like very, very good.
I mean, I think the
To be
Royal
honest.
Paladin stride is alright. I like the Royal Paladin one, but I think there are also lots of really crap strides in this.
I think-
But we also
yeah.
we really liked the Pale Moon stride. If you remember last week, we really really liked the Pale Moon stride.
Yeah, I
That's
like
like
the
one of
Shadow
very
Stride as
few good
well.
ones.
But a lot of the strides in this set have been made for standard decks, or for other builds that aren't the main builds of the decks. Like
Yeah.
for the Shadow Stride. If I get that, I'll want to play it in a Phantom Blaster Abyss Legion deck rather than
Yeah.
Loard, because there's no Loard skill that you can copy anyway.
That's worth it. Yeah.
Exactly. So a lot
But
of
yeah.
these are going to be for people who want to make new decks, probably, rather than people who already have decks and want to upgrade them. Unless they haven't got premium yet and they've just got standard versions of the deck and they want to move into premium.
And I think that's fine. Not every set has to be for every person, but for enfranchised players, I don't think that this is a very, very high quality set for you to buy a ton of.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think we went on a bit of a tangent from this Mega Colony stride. Let's look at the next stride that got revealed.
Yep, so the next one is the Bermuda Stride. I know next to nothing about Bermuda because I've denied their existence for the last 10 years.
I'll
Someone
read the
else
skill
wants
for
to,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do this one. Okay, so Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When this unit's placed, reveal the top 10 cards from your deck, and if all of them have different names, you call 5 face-down mermaid cards with power and different card names from your G-Zone to Rearguard Circle. And until the end of the turn, they gain power plus 15,000, and they can attack from the back row. Then you shuffle your deck, and then at the end of the turn, you put all the G units that are on Rearguard Circle into your G-Zone face up. And they're put into the G-Zone face up if turned face down, so if they're locked or if they get retired. So what this card is doing really is it's used in the Highlander deck where you play all different units, which now you have to play different triggers for as well. And you're going to be calling a field of 5 30k attacks and a Vanguard attack. So this is really just beat face as much as possible and try and get your opponent's hand down as much as you possibly can. I don't necessarily think this is a bad card, but I think there's going to have to be some pretty cheesy plays you put into this deck to make this card work. I could see people having to run stand triggers in this to make sure they're getting multiple attacks off. I think it's very okay, and I think the big benefit for this is quite a good first stride. And hopefully this will put your opponent's hand low enough so that they're going to really struggle for the rest of the game against you when you go into your better units later on.
Yeah, I think
I've got some points down. It's a Highlander deck. You've got the grade 4 that can create an Axel Circle, and you can create the Axel Circle, protect marker, and a force marker. So I think with this it can combo really well with that grade 4. I also think that because you are putting 6 strides onto the field, and then at the end you are turning them face up. You'll probably unlock like GB8. But you are using 5 strides, and you're going to run out of strides. So after you've used this, I feel like you will have no plays to do after that.
Yeah, it's just like your kill turn card, basically.
But you could go into Megiddo afterwards, couldn't you? If you need to for the next turn.
yeah, but
You could, but I feel like I don't know. I don't.
yeah,
With Highlander, I don't think Megiddo is an option, to be honest.
Yeah. My main thing about this card is that it's a Bermuda Triangle stride support for a standard deck that is not for Riviere, which is like how you want to play Bermuda in Premium right now, because Riviere is very, very silly. And every time I see my opponent flip a Riviere starter, I get very sad. So the fact that this makes you play different triggers, Bermuda only has 5 big V crits, as far as I know, because it has 2 from the trial deck, 1 from Crystal Melody, the GB crit from last year, and the Stride crit from this year. And then you're going to have to play 4 separate heals, so like big V heal, countercharge heal, 2 other miscellaneous heals. Bit worrying. And then like what else do you play? Because you're only at 9 out of your 16 triggers. Like you can only play 1 PG draw if you want to play PG draws. Bermuda don't have a Sentinel crit yet. It's just the fact that this makes you play potentially just worse triggers overall in your general Bermuda lineup.
I think you need to play
this
standards
is
to give pressure with this deck as well, which is a shame.
yeah. I
You're
mean,
forced
like
to play. You're forced to play the Highlander deck. You can't play any build with this card.
to be
You just have to
fair,
play Highlander.
Bermuda's best stand trigger is at 1 anyway, so
We might see Ange see play because Ange is at 1, so obviously.
There's the Prism stand, which is quite good, isn't there?
Is that the one with 0 attack? Oh wait, no, that's the crit. The crit's got 0 attack.
There's the Prism one that when it returns to hand, you give a unit 4k. But I'm trying to think if there's any that.
I know there's Crook. But
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one where you can loop it, where you could just create another attack.
Do you need two of them to loop it though, or can you do it off?
No, I think you could use it with Spice Spicker, I think it's called. You use that to boost with Spicker. You can bounce like a whole column.
Yeah, none of us are really like Bermuda players because we're all manly men except Lee. Lee plays Oracle Think Tank. But like, I think this is probably fine in its own kind of deck. But
I think this could be a really good budget deck. I mean,
yeah,
it could be a really good premium budget deck. You play lots of really cheap shit strides that you're just using to throw away. Because really, you're making 30k vanilla attack deck with this. So I think actually this could be. You could make a premium Bermuda deck which will take a few games for £30-40 with this.
I think it's a one-turn kill deck. It's
Yeah.
like it's really inconsistent because you are playing Highlander, so you try and like kill them on.
You just pray your opponent doesn't get triggers. That's how
pretty
it
much.
works.
the other thing that I just want to note about this only calls face down mermaids, so you can't put four. Like you can't just put 4 of the Zeroth Dragon in your G zone and have those as 40k attackers.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Which I think is probably a reasonable rule.
Yeah.
I mean, if you could do that, I'd just play Gize in it.
I'm assuming that every Bermuda card is a mermaid. I'd assume
Every
there is
Bermuda
a-
stride, yeah.
Okay,
The only ones that can go in the Bermuda G zone are either like
Zeroth
Prey
Dragons.
Elementals,
Oh, yeah.
Zeroth Dragon, and Ballerina the Progenitor. But I don't think you can call Ballerina off this.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I think every single Bermuda Triangle stride is a mermaid. So I think pretty much
yeah.
fine.
I think every Bermuda Triangle card is a mermaid, which is why I don't like it.
I would like to see the penguins that Pacifica has as a card. That'd make me really happy. I don't think we've got anything else set up on the PowerPoint, but Max did bring up a good point just before the stream about the MLB deck that was shown.
Oh, it's so beautiful! I am so excited to see that thing. So they first in the stream they started showing us some premium collection pack openings and some other stuff, and we didn't care. We talked about how ugly the festival collection commons are. So they've reprinted so many beautiful triple rares like Airmo and the main.
God, they look so gross.
Made them commons. And they just look disgraceful. But then they pulled out this tiny cardboard box, and they opened it up, and then they closed it again and took it off the camera, and we were all so sad. And then they opened it again, and then they pulled out this beautiful fabric magnetized deck box. And I thought, oh, maybe this is something that they're selling separately to the MLB deck. I thought, we're only going to get one of those crappy little Velcro plastic deck boxes. But then they opened it, and the deck was inside in the sleeves, and it was just so beautiful. And then they opened the deck, and the first card was this golden full art MLB, and it was beautiful. And then they kept going through, and then there was this Blaster Blade, and the Blaster Blade had got the same foiling as the Japanese set 1 set, and it was so beautiful. And then they kept going through, and I mean, I just wanted to cry. It's going to be amazing, and everybody's going to have to buy 4 copies of it, and it's going to make me so sad because everybody is going to play Royal Paladin and wants to see how amazing this set is.
You say this now, but the English format, we won't get half of these good stuff.
Yeah.
No, we
The
never
English
do.
format, they're just going to do it all in Shatterfoil Rare.
Can I put my umbrella away? Am I outside of like Max's blast zone now? Is he done now? Like, is there no more splooge?
Hey, we're all so hyped for this. You know we are. It's going to be amazing.
We're just
going
gonna get one of those-
completely ruin the game because
Yeah.
everybody's going to play this deck, and nothing's going to be able to beat it at the minute, and it's going to be so
so-
toxic.
There's going to be so many builds for the MLB deck, so
Yeah. One of the other things that I just wanted to point out about the deck box is I use a lot of Ultimate Guard like magnetized proper deck boxes because I like to keep my cards safe because sometimes deck boxes get thrown in the heat of the moment. That MLB deck box looked like one of the Ultimate Guard ones that I use, and these are reasonably expensive, but the fact that that's coming with the set, it's textured around the set, and it does look really nice. I really hope we get these over here, otherwise
Yeah.
we're going to have to import a ton.
One of the difficulties with Vanguard cards is that they warp really easily. So using a normal kind of Ultra Pro plastic deck box, or the plastic deck boxes that come with Vanguard, the air and the moisture in the air getting to the cards warps the cards very easily. One of the benefits of the fabric one, and actually more than the fabric one, the Ultimate Guard Boulder deck boxes, is if the deck is as airtight as possible, you're going to really prolong the life of your cards. And if you're spending lots and lots of money on stuff like buying 4 copies of the MLB deck to get your SVRs, you're going to want it in a nice, good quality deck box. So actually, if we get this set over here, all you need to buy is your oversleeves for your character sleeves, and then you've got really good protection for your cards straight away. And you've got a deck which is clearly going to hold its own in the meta for a long time. So it seems like a really, really good investment at the moment.
Yeah, this is assuming that we do get the accessories that come with the deck, and not just some crappy, basically made out of paper deck box, which we have gotten in the last few Legend decks.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. I'd be very surprised if we got something as nice as what Japan's getting.
Yeah, even if it's just one of the, even if it is just one of the like harder plastic with Velcro, I'd be happy with that. Just so long as it's not one of the crappy ones where you've got the little slit, and you got to put the tiny little slit in, and you can't get it in properly. It opens up in your bag. Your cards go everywhere.
They've not done one of the slit ones for a long time, have they?
Not since the last Legend decks.
Yeah.
I think they give those out at like Bushiroad, like BCS events. But...
Yeah, because it's easy to carry them around with them, isn't it? Because you can just unfold them and put them all in like a box.
Yeah, they're all flat packed.
All of a sudden, you've got a box with 5,000 deck boxes in it, just in case.
Yeah. But there's still, just to round off the MLB discussion, there's still no confirmed English release date. We are still delayed. It's looking, if we're following Japan, and we're going to get after the Festival Collection. Festival Collection comes out on the 7th of August. So it's looking like we might be getting this mid-August to early September, which is a long way off.
If we do end up getting tournaments by then, it means it might be legal for this year's BCS season if we do get one of those.
I can't imagine. I think
likely.
Our next BCS is going to be next year, definitely.
Yeah, I think they might do like an online BCS or something like that. Maybe
it's
just
really disappointing.
Yeah, I would not want to play online.
Nobody enjoys playing on tabletop or Cardfight area.
I think it'd be like a.
I agree.
Yeah, you'd be playing with a webcam. It'd be sick. It'd be so easy to cheat.
Yeah, exactly. You can just like pause your thing and be like, "Oh, sorry, I had a bit of a connection error."
Keep an exact copy of your deck off to the left-hand side.
Yeah, exactly.
Your card
I had a connection issue. Sorry, all effects Vanguard, all effects Vanguard, all effects Vanguard.
Yeah.
So, as we go off on our tangent, let's talk about what's happening for the rest of this week. Tomorrow we've got a VBTO free booster box opening. On Thursday, it is... What are you doing this week, Simon? 'Cause you're coming up, I think, soon, and Belf.
I will be doing a premium Spike Brothers deck tech, which is going to be covering the more standard bad end, standard plus sort of build. Although, if people want to see it, I can also do a Hellhard 8 kind of more combo-centric build that I've been working on. But, yeah, expect some Spike Brothers content from me. Because I can't really milk Kagero anymore.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Because Simon did like 3 videos on
it. Simon, have you got any plans for this week, or is it gameplay, do you think?
I'm going to get some ideas tonight, and I haven't got any ideas right now, so...
I came up with the idea earlier that I would like to support the release of the trial decks that are coming out next month. We should do a game of each trial deck playing against each other. And upload that as 4 separate videos.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, that would be nice.
I think that'd be really good. Not to just like come up with random ideas during a podcast or anything, but yeah, I think that's a pretty good show.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And then, so we've done Thursday. Friday is my video for my Cardfight 0 playthrough that I'm doing. One thing about that is I have got at least 7 more episodes lined up that I haven't uploaded to the channel yet. I think I'm going to start uploading those every other day, like I said in the last podcast, I think.
Cool.
So that I can get through them quicker, because I want to make sure that I've got a video to come out for the set 4 release for Vanguard Zero, because I have saved up around 40 packs so far, I think. So I can do a nice big set opening when MLB comes out.
Very nice. On Saturday, we're going to start looking at the anime when that's revealed. But before that, we're probably going to do a discussion video this Saturday. We've been talking about budget decks, so we might do something about best budget decks, but that's something else to look forward to in the future. Sunday is Simon, so we'll see that whatever it comes to on Sunday. And then Monday will be Vanguard Zero again. So that's this week's plan. Please do subscribe if you'd like to see that. We are still in the very early stages of our video making and our podcasting, so any feedback would be greatly appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you didn't, you know what to do. And we'll see you in the next episode. So this is Rowan, Belf, Simon, and Max signing off until next Tuesday. See you next time, guys.
Bye.
Take care.